Story: Trapped in the Mirror. When Emma and Daniel moved into the old Victorian house on the outskirts of town, they didn't expect their new beginning to be tainted by strange occurrences. The house, with its tall windows, creaky floors, and weathered wood, exuded an undeniable charm. It was the kind of place that whispered secrets of its past, a place that would make anyone feel as if they had stepped into another time. Their first night in the house was peaceful, the kind of quiet that only a secluded town could provide. But that tranquility was short-lived. As they unpacked the next day, Emma noticed something unusual about the mirrors in the house. The full-length mirror in the hallway seemed to reflect her and Daniel's movements with a slight delay. At first, it was barely noticeable, just a fraction of a second, but enough to give her an unsettling feeling. "Daniel, do you notice anything odd about the mirrors?" Emma asked as she stood in front of one, adjusting her dress. Daniel, busy with unpacking, barely glanced at her. "What do you mean?" "The reflections. They seem a bit off, like they're not in sync with us." Daniel laughed, trying to ease her growing unease. "It's probably just the old glass. This place is full of quirks. You'll get used to it." But Emma couldn't shake the feeling. It wasn't just the reflection delay. There was something else, something that made her skin crawl. She decided to forget about it for now, chalking it up to nerves. The next few days, however, brought more unsettling experiences. Every time Emma looked in the mirror, the delay grew more noticeable. But it wasn't just the delay, it was the way their reflections moved. Sometimes Emma could swear that she saw her reflection do something she hadn't done. A twitch of the hand, a shift of the body, a strange look in her eyes that didn't match the one she had on her face. It was Daniel who first brought it up. One evening after dinner, he was standing in front of the large mirror in their bedroom, adjusting his tie. He froze, his hand halfway to his neck. "Emma, I think you need to see this," he called out in a shaky voice. Emma rushed over, confusion etched on her face. "What is it?" Daniel stepped back from the mirror, his face pale. "My reflection. It wasn't me. It smiled at me, but I wasn't smiling." Emma's heart pounded in her chest. "That's impossible. We must be imagining things." But as she looked closer, she realized he wasn't exaggerating. His reflection wasn't just moving at a different pace, it was doing things it shouldn't. The smile he had mentioned was twisted, sinister, and something in the eyes of the reflection seemed to flicker like it was alive. That night, neither of them could sleep. They lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the eerie reflection of their movements echoing in their minds. The next morning, things took an even darker turn. Emma and Daniel woke to find that the house felt wrong. The walls seemed to breathe with an unnatural rhythm, and the silence was overwhelming. But what disturbed them the most was the mirror in the hallway. When they stood in front of it, expecting to see their usual reflections, they were greeted with an empty glass. No image, no movement. They tried to shake it off, but the unease remained. As the day went on, they began to notice something terrifying. Their reflections were no longer just delayed. They had disappeared completely. Every mirror in the house was now a void, an empty space that didn't reflect anything at all. Panic set in. Emma and Daniel scoured the house, trying to figure out where their reflections had gone. But it was as if they had vanished into thin air. And then, just when they thought it couldn't get worse, it did. They walked into the living room to find the mirror. There was different. It wasn't just reflecting the room. It was reflecting a version of the room that didn't exist. The furniture was out of place, the walls a different shade, and in the corner they could make out two figures, Emma and Daniel, but they weren't standing in front of the mirror. They were on the other side, trapped. Their reflections, distorted and frantic, were banging against the glass, their faces twisted in desperation. Emma and Daniel could see their own eyes wide with fear as their reflections screamed, trying to break free. The reflection of Emma reached out, her hand pressing against the glass, pleading silently for help. "Help us! Get us out of here!" The reflection of Daniel mouthed, but no sound came through. Frozen with fear, Emma tried to touch the mirror, but her hand passed through it like water. It was solid, cold, and unnaturally still. The more they looked, the more they realized that their reflections weren't just trapped. They were changing, becoming something else, something dark.